I think oftentimes we use concepts like money in a very sloppy fashion, and people use money uh, and currency as though they're synonymous.
Hmm.
And I don't really think there's been a lot of deep thinking about this. I mean, I could honestly say before Bitcoin, I didn't really think that deeply about it. I
Hmm.
was I was prompted to think deeply about it when Robert Breedlove invited me onto his show, What is Money?
Hmm.
And I thought, wow, we're going to talk about what is money. So I guess I better figure it out. And so then I started to think. And now I think it's helpful if you adopt these kind of definitions, noting that we're so early in this journey that 95% of the world hasn't thought deeply about it, and
Hmm.
probably they would probably use these words or terms differently, and many people, even economists and business people, don't really know what money is, or they just define it sloppily in the context. So I think money is economic energy.
Hmm.
If you have a certain amount of economic energy, let's say you have $100,000 of economic energy in the year 2022, that can be exchanged for products or services or property. Right? I can fly somewhere. I can buy something. I can, you know, throw a party in the year 2022. Clearly, $100,000 worth of money in 2022 doesn't buy you the same goods, services, or products in the year 1900. It would buy you a lot
Hmm.
more.
Hmm.
And in the year 2200, won't buy you the same thing either. So, so you have a certain amount of money at a certain time that you can measure in a currency. The currency, in this case, the US dollar, is the medium of exchange in that political frame of reference at the time you have the money. So if money is economic energy, what happens as you change political frames of reference? $100,000 buys you a certain amount in the US. And if you go to Japan, well, it doesn't buy you anything because they don't accept dollars for restaurants. You can't buy a house in dollars. You have to convert it to yen. So you would convert that amount of money from the dollar currency into the yen currency. If you trip through 180 countries, you would have to convert it generally into the currency that's the medium of exchange and the legal tender in the country. Since most countries have a different legal currency, some countries, like in Europe, share a similar one, the euro. So money is economic energy. The currency is the medium of exchange, or it is an asset legally designated by a nation state as an acceptable medium of exchange, and it's given a legal advantage, a political advantage, because you can transfer it tax free. So if I have $100,000 and I want uh, to buy an expensive car with it, right? I can exchange the 100,000 of money via the currency into the car without paying a capital gains tax, and without incurring a capital gain loss on the transaction. If I had a bunch of Apple stock, $100,000 worth of Apple stock, I would have an asset. Actually, in fact, a batch of securities worth $100,000. But if I bought the car with $100,000 of Apple stock, and I had acquired the Apple stock for $50,000, I would actually get the car and I'd get a tax bill for the capital gains on $50,000, right? That's what the nation state says. So for that reason, Apple stock or a bunch of securities don't make good medium of exchange,
Hmm.
right? Even if it was liquid, right? It's not a good medium of exchange because my credit card, doesn't work so well with Apple stock, because I can't transfer Apple stock on a Saturday afternoon. And those are reasons why I wouldn't use it. in order to buy a car, but the most important reason that securities will never be currency is because it's deemed as, we'll call it property by the IRS and subject to a capital gains tax. So the currency in the modern world is whatever the government says it is. If you're in a state of anarchy, right, or chaos, let's say you're in a war zone. You're in Afghanistan after the government fell, right, while the Americans were pulling out, all the banks failed, right? Clearly, there's no effective government to designate a local Afghan fiat currency. There's no government to impose taxes, right? That's anarchy. In that particular case, if you happen to be an Afghan citizen and you're doing a trade with another Afghan citizen, you want to buy whatever they've got, their car, right, their food, you could use Bitcoin as a currency, and it would be a currency because there's no government to tell you that you can't use it as a currency. So I think if you're going to build a higher level civilization, you have to be open-minded to a lot of different ways to work with the asset and different time frames. And when you go to the extreme, you undermine adoption, but you also undermine utility, because the real economy is going to be, you need Bitcoin at layer 1, you've got Lightning, a non-custodial open layer 2, and then you've got layer 3s like Cash App and PayPal and the exchanges, and then you've got layer 4s, securities like MicroStrategy or GBTC, where we've literally got the thing embedded in what we are. And then you've got products. You could build it into products and services. You could build a Bitcoin into a Tesla. What if I had a Tesla and I bought the Tesla and the Tesla basically was self-maintaining forever, right? Because I had enough Bitcoin in it to pay for all the electricity and also pay for the maintenance upkeep on the car. So all of these are different aspects of a digital economy, and they'll all be subject to different rules and different laws, and some things will fail and some will succeed. And if you just take an open mind and allow it all to evolve, I think people will start to see this as economically good for everybody, technically good for everyone, and morally, politically good as well. There don't have to be any losers here. Everybody can be a winner. And if you go into the marketplace and your position is Bitcoin fixes this, well, how about just Bitcoin improves this? What if you went to every company, every product, every family, every country, every politician, everybody, and just said, I'm here from Bitcoin and we can improve whatever you're doing. It doesn't even matter what you're doing. It'll be better if you build some type of Bitcoin into whatever you're doing. There are no enemies. The world just divides into people that don't understand how we can help them yet, people that do understand how we can help them, right? And then people we haven't talked to yet.